all started in 1946, and there were 6 of them, although there could have been 9. 30 years later, due to necessities, there were only 3, but they were larger, were bigger. Around 30 years after that, in 2003, one was removed, which left only 2. And of course, I'm talking about the runways at Heathrow Airport. Having a third parallel runway first came to life in the 1980s, believe it or not. And in 2009, Gordon Brown's Labour government approved an expansion due to for economic reasons, they said. The following year, when the Tories were elected, together with the Lib Dems, the whole idea was scrapped. So the Labour Party spent a fortune on planners and consultants and legal battles.
Yeah.
Only for 1 year later for the whole idea to be scrapped. David I Like Pigs Cameron, proclaiming there would be no expansion, no ifs, no buts, he said. The same government made yet another commission called the Independent Airports Commission. Same Conservative government made up another commission to spend money, to do some research, called the Independent Airports Commission, which in 2015 recommended Heathrow as a preferred site for a new runway. So an independent commission said, it should be done at Heathrow.
Yeah.
And in 2018, Theresa May approved the plan of this third runway.
Yeah.
But received backlash by several MPs. Boris Johnson, for example, he said that he would lay down in front of the bulldozers to stop the work. I don't know if you remember that little bit.
Yeah, that'd be quite amusing. But
yeah. Keir Starmer, at that time, Keir Starmer, not Sir Keir Starmer as his today.
Is that what we're calling him now? Yes.
I'm biting my tongue.
Okay.
Ed, I Like Bacon Sandwiches Miliband, Lisa Nandy, Steve Reed, all of the opposition, all people of the opposition, the Labour Party, all voted against the idea at the time. In 2020, Sadiq Khan, along with others, applied for judicial review of the plans, and they were deemed unlawful. The plans were deemed unlawful because of failure to take into account climate commitments. In the same year, Heathrow, the airport, appealed, and the previous judgment was overruled. Then COVID came along.
Oh yeah, no COVID. Yes.
Last year, the boss of Heathrow said a third beast is still part of the strategy, as the current situation is almost at capacity. Last year, 83.9 million passengers. So now Rachel from Accounts has decided it needs to be done. But the Sadiq Khans and Ed Miliband's have raised their heads once again in protest.
Oh dear.
Michael O'Leary, the head of Ryanair, got into the mix.
He does manage to pop up on occasion.
Yeah. He opined that the runway will take decades to build, and advised Reeves to scrap air passenger duty to make Britain more attractive to foreign visitors. He called a third runway a dead cat. Now, I imagine that Rachel from Accounts is going to spend an awful lot of money on research, on planning, And I'm getting a bit of deja vu, as there was another sweeping major project which has been lying dormant for some time, and it's called HS2, which cost a fortune for the planners and the consultants, but never got off the ground.
Yeah.
Pun intended there.
Yes, yes. It's just,
So I think it'll be the same here. Look again at the plans, rework the plans, years of consultancy work. And when all that is done, the reality will be another wash, rinse, and repeat.
yeah, that's how feasibility studies work normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the UK isn't short of are underused airports.
Mm,
Doncaster Airport has been on and off for years now, built on
yeah.
an Air Force base in
Mm,
Finningley.
mm,
Has a massive runway for
mm.
even the biggest aeroplanes. Some say could even land a space shuttle there. It's so big.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. But the airport had to be closed as there were only 3 commercial flights a week. That's when I was in the UK,
Yeah.
visiting my sister. There were
Yeah.
3 flights a week going to Poland.
I know Donny, yeah, sort of.
Right. If the British government could only lift their head and look around, there are 1,001 alternatives that would bring wealth
Mm,
to the rest of the country at a minimum of cost.
mm,
But then again, how would the planners and consultants make their money?
mm.
And in the end, do I think a third runway will be built at Heathrow? Of course not.
Right. Okay. There's one thing, if there's one thing I've learned about politicians over the probably the past 30 years, is they like nice, shiny, new things. Yeah. Something they can be then standing chest out at the ribbon. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I don't I'm not suggesting Anne of accounts, Anne from accounts should be her name is Rachel from accounts should be standing with her chest out. But yeah. Um yeah, it's a yeah, it just seems that it's crazy. I agree with you. We should always be looking for alternatives. And I've always said that in my industry, in any industry. It's almost a Chinese thing. Do we need to do this? Can we not use existing stuff already and adapt what we could develop around onto it? I know it might seem that it stops progress sometimes, but like you say, if you've got something that's underused, how can we use it? How can we bring it into the equation? Yeah. Um, okay, sometimes it's better to scrap something than to try and modernize it, or maybe there's ways to modernize it or halfway. In the US, if we're going to start to talk about this, they have lots of smaller airports, yeah, that they use and they feed into the big hubs that, well, international. Okay. Now, I mean, I thought the idea was to stop people flying. It appears that maybe that's seen as an encouragement to get people flying. But as has been highlighted, somebody jumping on a train to go to Newcastle, cheaper to jump on a plane and fly up there and get there in probably a full quarter of the time. Yeah. Okay. Well, you got to factor in where the airports normally are, in the middle of the town, whatever. But yeah, depends what you want to do. You're there in half an hour as opposed to 2.5 hours sometimes. And I love railways, as you know. I love railways. You know, I've built railways everywhere and modernize the technology on railways. But yeah, I've done that in the past. I'm not going to start talking about that now. Yeah, I remember the big inquiry years ago about the terminals, about everything else. At Heathrow, I mean, Heathrow's busy. Anyone that goes through Heathrow is busy. But you go through Stansted, you go through Gatwick, they're all busy. Well, they were last time I was in the UK. Yeah. Um, even Luton is busy. Luton's a small airport, that's busy as well. Yeah. Um, I've got a local, well, there was a local airport to me where I come from. And yeah, that's always up and down with being a receivership almost and financial thing. It's a great little airport. Yeah, you could fly people in from Europe in there. The idea was they built a special station to go on the train to go to London. The local authority didn't allow access outside the airport to go onto the train as well, which was a bit of a mistake, in my opinion. Yeah, because it would have been a good, where it is, it would have been a good service as well for locals. But
At Doncaster Airport, you
mm,
just need to put a bus service on
mm,
to go from the airport to the train station.
yeah,
And the train station, of course, you've got the 125 that takes you all the way down to London.
yeah, yeah. I
And it's
mean,
no,
the long,
and as long as there's a link
yeah,
from the airport to a main artery,
mm.
then I don't see any problem with that.
Well, yeah, you got that, or you got Uber services, or yeah, you can have a dedicated taxi service in the longer term, like you say. You could even build maybe a tramway, but yeah, that's disrespect of yeah things like that. Yeah, making connections, which is always an argument. Yeah, you can't have airports right in the middle of the town. Where we live, we've got an airport almost in the middle of the town. Really, yeah, you're 10 minutes away from the centre.
They're
But yeah,
doing London.
yeah. Well, yeah, this is the city airport. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
flown from there. I've flown to Europe from there. Great little place. Yeah, you go there. Um, yeah, yeah, it's a bit like the local airport where I came from. Yeah, there are great little airports. So yes, I agree with you. You don't need to put everything in a one hub. Um, as I say, I don't think politicians are the best people to actually see what people need. We want good local services. We want good local railway services. We want good local transport services. Although there does seem to be a move to stop the likes of you and me travelling anywhere. They want to keep us in a 15-minute radius all times, is one plan. Maybe they're moving away from that. Unless you're going to start flying in more freight from places. Yeah. But the idea, I don't understand that either, really. It's my own feeling about this. Am I upset that the people within Labour are arguing with each other? Oh, I'm heartbroken about that. They can't come to a decision about something. It's looking bad. Is it a load of hot air?
yes,
It's
of
my
course
other
it
question.
is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, of course it is. Just as HS2 was.
Well,
Just as a lot of just as our friend Angela Rayner, Manji Angie, she's promising the no, I don't know how many million houses by year 4 of the Labour government. How many houses have been built so far after 6 months?
well, well,
I don't see many trowels being wielded about
you probably
because
took.
it's all planning.
I was going to say you're 2 years
Plan,
off
let's
doing everything.
consult.
Yeah.
Let's consult. They're filling the pockets. They
Well,
think they think it's great.
well, I mean, unless they're tied in with consultancies and design and people like that.
And all of them with some sort of link to an MP.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the road lobbied in the 60s with Beeching's 50s, 60s with Beeching's Acts and all that. But yeah, that's a slightly different thing. It was a closure of transport as opposed to ramping it up. Um, yeah, I'd sometimes wonder about politicians if they think, yeah, they can just say it and it's this easy to do it. They're the ones that make the legislation of how easy or difficult something is to do as well. Um, you could probably, in theory, get a runway built in probably within a year if you put enough. It's not even a case of throwing resources down there. The plan's already got to exist for it. Yeah, it's a case of checking them. Do they work? Right. Again, we've mentioned China a few times. The Chinese don't have this problem. They just go and do, which is wrong as well. But yeah, they just go and do. They've actually got technology where they don't use humans doing things now. If you see what they've done with that road over there. So they've got a big population that none of them are going to work soon. That's interesting. But it's I really don't know what to make of all this. It just seems to be spiraling round, or is it a case of look here, don't look over here? Yeah.
There you are. There you are. It's look here, look here. We're going to be talking about this illegal immigration over here.
Yeah.
Whilst we're talking here at the front door, Everybody's slipping in through the back.
Yeah, yeah. So there you are, people. Steve's got the got the reasoning behind it. Yes, I agree with you. I don't think the third runway will be built, but I agree with you totally that maybe we should be looking at utilizing existing assets around the country, which will be better. I mean, they keep saying producing more work up north, leveling up. If they call it leveling up, or
Yep.
I call it
That's what
leveling.
Boris
Yeah.
Johnson called it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, it's another phrase, the term. But yeah, I agree with it to a point. Yeah, we should be looking how we can utilize existing assets in north of England, start bringing in there. Why should freight coming or passengers coming to London to then have to move around? Why can't they fly straight to Manchester? Why can't they fly straight to, well, okay, you can get straight to Manchester most times. Yeah, or why can't they fly straight to somewhere else? Or, yeah, and it's good for the local economy. Yeah, it produces jobs for people, checking
Yeah,
everything from cleaners to
whenever
checking
I had,
people. Yeah.
whenever I had to get a plane to go to Europe, I had to go down to London first
Yeah.
and get either one of the two airports.
Yeah.
Um,
Heathrow Stansted.
why
Yeah.
why they can't have a flight direct from Doncaster to Magaluf, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's demand as well. I mean, how many people
Well,
wait?
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's what I'm saying. All the Northerners that want to do the Magaluf line,
Yeah.
you know, they don't have
Yeah.
to make the train take the strain and go down to London.
Yeah.
They can hop on a plane in Manchester or Doncaster,
Yeah.
and a couple of hours later they're in Magaluf,
Yeah. Yeah.
having the time of their lives.
Well, yeah. If you consider having fish and chips and just drinking copious amounts of lager at the time of your life, great. But yeah, you could
I'm
do that
sure
with
that I'm sure that Michael O'Leary could have something to do with that.
look, um yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're always looking people getting private industry involved. I mean, yeah, he could be a major investor, a part of the planning process. He knows what he needs. He can be a bit of a reckless businessman sometimes, but um, he's outspoken. But yeah, bring people like him in, the budget airlines,
When
other
you think
people.
about it, I mean, his business plan
Mm,
is to take the passenger
mm,
to not to a main airport in Europe, but
mm.
to a smaller airport where they don't
Yeah,
have so much landing charges,
yeah,
and it's nearby. And why he has to operate out of Heathrow
yeah.
and Stansted and all this,
Mm.
he could use these do the same thing coming back.
Well,
So you don't get dropped in London, you get dropped in Donny
okay,
or in Birmingham
I'm
or
gonna,
or something else.
I'm gonna ask a question. Why don't all these smaller budget airlines all get together? And I don't know if they're doing this already because you just dropped me all this. And I wouldn't say lobby the government because I don't really like this idea of lobbying, but come together and come up with a proposal that they could then submit. Um, get
They
the
were
get the
if
public interested. Yeah,
they were forward thinking they would do, but the fat cats are quite happy where they are.
yeah. But I mean, if you get the general public on side, well, now what am I saying? This is the UK now. Yeah, we don't count.
Well, not only that, I mean the general public are quite happy to get the train down to London and take it from there.
Yeah, but if you suggest something else, hey, what have you guys thought of it? Because we have to accept what we've got. Yeah, if there are somebody, if a group of people have got vested interests, and this was the argument, I've got vested interests, of course they have. But if they come up with a good idea or something that's plausible and sensible to the people that can be worth considering, yeah, private industry does know
Well,
what it's doing. Yeah,
well, if Michael O'Leary is watching this podcast, with all due respect, Mike, get off his spindly ass, get chatting to these people, and
yeah,
see what you can do.
and 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 you're welcome to come on our podcast in future and
Tell,
and
tell
discuss
me
it with
to
us. Yeah,
tell me what you think of me.
yeah.